I can't take any credit for the kind of work that they've put into the film. Alia's career and Ayan's career, Ranbir has worked so closely with us. So it was like I felt like I had to be the strong, wise one, but the passion, hard work was all coming from them.
Do you think you owe it to Alia and Ranbir also to give them a good film from Dharma?
Alia's has done 10 films, out of which 8 have been very successful. Ranbir has always had a positive, successful beat with us, so that we also feel a part of their sunshine. I feel sad that within the industry we have sometimes people who kind of are working for the industry and with the industry for years. Sometimes I feel that they can be exceptional. While you can be critical, but being negative is not nice. Why is Karan talking so much about Alia? Why does he talk so much about people's sex lives? And I'm like, actually, I don't think of these things. Maybe I'm curious about people's sex lives, so I ask about them. Maybe I am very proud of Alia and it comes out in every conversation of mine. So we have to police myself also when I get that feedback, I read it. But what amuses me is that the long columns people write. And I'm like, it's just a talk show, which is not even a cerebral talk show. It's a frivolous, fun talk show.
Did you expect more guests? We didn't see Ranbir, we didn't see Shah Rukh.
So we call Ranbir, of course, teases me and says that he won't come on Coffee ever. I'll try and convince him for the next season. Yes. And I'm hoping that we can do something solid with Shah Rukh in the next season. Hi, this is me, Karan Johar, and you're watching my interview on Bollywood Hungama.
Karan, at any point, at one point of time, because this was taking so long, it became a joke and everybody kept telling Alia and Ranbir, oh, this is going on for so long. They always replied and they were very warm about it. Ayan takes feedback like nobody else. Were you as a maker, as a producer, ever worried that where's this going?
No, the stress levels were very high, Rohit. It was from the beginning, it was a completely difficult task. And I have to say that the entire crew, not just Ayan, but the people, there were such forces he had around them to combat all this. And I know at one point in time it had become kind of an industry joke that is this film ever coming out? Because we've announced a release date twice, we had to change, then the pandemic came and, but I think that the team, Ayan and his team, really braved through it. I mean, honestly, I can't take any credit for the kind of work that they've put into the film. I was there like fathering the film in many ways because, I've been part of Alia's career and Ayan's career. Ranbir has worked so closely with us. So it was like, I felt like I had to be the strong, wise one, but the passion, hard work was all coming from them.
Do you also feel responsible because, you also, do you think you owe it to Alia and Ranbir also to give them a good film from Dharma?
I mean, I always am stressed. I'm so glad that Alia's has done 10 films, out of which 8 have been very successful. Ranbir has always had a positive, successful beat with us. Be it Wake Up Sid, Jawani Diwani, Ae Dil Hai Mushkil and Now Brahmastra. So I'm glad that we as a company have managed to give them these successes also so that we also feel a part of their sunshine.
Right. What did the day of the release, the buzz came out, the reviews came out, the numbers came out, it did everything well for you guys. What was you feeling?
I was humongously stressed. The night prior, I couldn't sleep a wink, and I wasn't able to tell Ayan this or Ranbir or Alia because I felt like I had to be like that, where we've done it and it's great, it's going to be massive. And don't worry, there was all kinds of mixed reviews coming up and people were saying either amazing or like the opposite of it. And I felt because it's a new creature in the jungle, I think people had such adverse opinions. And while I have no problem with everyone's opinions, I feel sad that within the industry we have sometimes people who kind of are working for the industry and with the industry for years. Sometimes I feel that they can be exceptional. While you can be critical, but being negative is not nice. Critical we'll accept with open arms because being critical is very imperative. Everyone needs that kind of policing. But I feel sometimes some people push that from being critical to negative. And sometimes I feel, but we are all part of the same industry. Don't you want this film to work? Don't you want to make sure that this massive cinema experience gets the footfall so that we can actually really forge forward with so much more? That's the only thing sometimes that upsets me, that I feel people within the industry sometimes who call themselves members of the media also, but sometimes celebrate the ruination of a film. And I feel like that's never a good thing.
Right, but then, this logic should be for all movies, right? Like they will say when their film is coming, everybody should stand by it. My question is hypothetical, but do you think there was a time when the industry, the stalwarts of the industry, your father, Yash Chopra Saab, Dev Anand Saab, Raj Kapoor, everyone, do you think industry has gone through different kind of crisis at that time? They used to unite and they used to stand and they used to fight it out. Do you think they would handle this any differently?
I think that they totally were. They were wise ladies and gentlemen of the industry and it was a far more united, I think, far more, I would say, just an industry that worked far more together with each other. I'm not so sure we are that industry that they were, but I still feel like a lot of the younger generation are people like who don't have those kind of rivalries and obvious warfares and all that. It's more like the social media that is spewing more venom sometimes than actually the individuals themselves. So I believe we can be more united than we are, but I think a lot of steps have to be taken by everybody.
Everybody, absolutely.
It cannot just happen with one person. Everyone has to come together, and I feel like many times the South industry is a lot more integrated than we are, and I believe that we should actually take those steps to be a lot more integrated.
That's something to learn from them, right? Yeah. And then there's Dharmatic that continues to make interesting content that people love. Coffee with Karan this season, what was different? Did you enjoy it as much as you enjoyed the previous season?
I enjoy every season. I love it. This season has done phenomenally, and I'm very, very, I'm very grateful, because there was one point of time when the pandemic started and so much was being written. There was a time that I questioned my decision to do the show again. It was only 2 years later when I realized that I want to live my life the way I want to kind of live it. And I don't want it to be, I don't want to change my way of being because of certain sections of people who have things to say. I want to do what pleases me. Doing Coffee with Karan makes me very happy. The fact that it's done so phenomenally for all the episodes that are out, and the Hotstar's thrilled, and we're all as a team very thrilled. And of course, there was so much feedback coming in there. They were like, why is Karan talking so much about Alia? Why does he talk so much about people's sex lives? And I'm like, actually, I don't think of these things. Maybe I'm curious about people's sex lives, so I ask about them. Maybe I am very proud of Alia, and it comes out in every conversation of mine. So we have to police myself also. When I get that feedback, I read it. But what amuses me is that they're long columns people write. And I'm like, it's just a talk show, which is not even a cerebral talk show. It's a frivolous, fun talk show. But people have really analyzed it in long columns, and I'm almost amused that they have all the time in the world to analyze this show. I wouldn't give it that much time. I don't know why they are.
Karan, you make headlines, and that people have interest in, and that's why everybody loves Coffee with Karan. But this time, did you expect more guests? We didn't see Ranbir, we didn't see Shah Rukh. Did you want those? It
was 12 episodes,
right?
So we were restricted by calling not more than 26 people.
Okay.
So we call Ranbir, of course, teases me and says that he won't come on Coffee ever. I'll try and convince him for the next season. Yes. And I'm hoping that we can do something solid with Shah Rukh in the next season, because he's been such a huge he's been such a huge part of the show, you know, and every time he's appeared, he's been magical. So I'm hoping that. And there are so many more people that I still would love to get.
Right. What has changed since it's come just on digital? Like, you all talk more freely, do you think?
No, I think while I might be talking more freely, people are using language a little more freely. But I also feel everyone's a lot more prepared with their answers, because they know who not to offend and how to play it. So I think people are a lot more careful in the rapid fire. So I'm hoping that we can kind of cross that bridge with the next season.
Very nice, right? See, that's the thing. You want to keep it going, and you want to push it
because
ahead.
I feel like everyone's coming a lot more like guarded than they ever were. And that sometimes is like not the syntax of Coffee, is like a little more like, but everyone's a lot more, because everyone's so touchy and sensitive, you know? So nobody takes everything in humor. I mean, everybody takes everything very seriously.
Dar gaye sab.
Dar hi nahi gaye. Well, actually, they don't want to upset anybody.
They don't want to upset anybody.
But I'm like, it's like there's a fine line between being funny and being offensive, and I hope that we can be on that line, and I hope we can crack it.
Right. And then there's Bollywood Housewives, which travels so much. Who, like so many people I spoke to, they want to binge watch in one day, but they necessarily don't want to tweet about it and tell people that they watched it.
It's guilty pleasure, no? Like Coffee with Karan. So I think we are brand ambassadors of guilty pleasure. I think between Coffee with Karan and Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Wives, it's like people, it's what you call cringe binge.
Right. Yeah.
It is cringe binge. So you are cringing, but you're still binging.
Right.
And I wrote actually an Insta post, and I said hats off to these 4 girls who set them up, knowing that people are going to laugh at them, knowing that they might be the butt of their jokes, but everyone's watching them. That's the reason why we're in a 2nd season and will hopefully be in a 3rd.
Wow.
And more beyond that. So I'm like, Fabulous Lives is now a brand, and it will go forward, and Netflix is happy, we're happy. And yes, it's guilty pleasure. So is Coffee with Karan, so is Bollywood Wives, but pleasure is still pleasure, right?
What does Dharmatic you want to achieve with Bollywood Wives? Have you all achieved it?
Well, we have. No one was trying to make us a very intellectual, cerebral show of the lives of these women. Some things that they do and the things they say are hilarious. You can laugh with them and at them. And I think they're cool with it. And that's what's amazing about all 4 of them. They have an amazing way of being self-deprecating about themselves, and they're laughing about themselves, and they're talking about like the most ridiculous first world problems, and doing it with a certain panache. And I'm like, you can also, it may not be a cup of tea, but so many people are still watching it and consuming it.
Lovely. Also coming to your film, we'll talk about it closer to the release, but Rocky Aur Rani, how's that shaping up? Because we saw a glimpse of Ranveer without his shirt on the show.
The film is a joyous film, in my opinion. I hope that everybody else believes that.
Right.
I just think that I'm very privileged to have been able to work with Jaya ji, Shabana ji, Dharam ji, all besides Ranveer and Alia, and we have an amazing cast from Kolkata as well. You know,
Right.
we have Chudni Ganguly, Tota Roy Chaudhary, and we have a cast that is short. I've worked with Amir Bashir, an actress called Shruti Jog, Anjali Anand. We have so many interesting new actors in this film that it's a massive ensemble, a family love story, and it has all the elements in the film that I have loved watching and always having as part of my films, the songs and the dances, and it's a celebratory film, and I can't wait for actually everyone to kind of dig themselves into the world of Rocky Aur Rani Ki Prem Kahani.
Right, when you do something, like you said, people write columns about it. When I remember when Kank came, a lot of people loved it like me, and there were people who said, we didn't expect this from Karan.
It happened with Gehraiyan as well.
It happened with Gehraiyan as well.
What happened with Kank happened right again. Literally like 16 years later with Gehraiyan. And I was telling Shakun, I said, all this polarization is good because that means you managed to shake up an audience or have extreme reactions, hate and love.
Right.
You know, which is extremes, two extremes. Like when you hate a film like Gehraiyan or you hate a film like Kabhi Alvida, I feel somewhere that hate is coming from the fact that the film has hit you in a certain way that you don't want to acknowledge. Infidelity is that topic that can get like all kinds of extreme reactions, and I think both these films have addressed that.
Right. And what do you think will be their reaction after watching your Rocky Aur Rani?
This is it's a very straight line film. There is no it doesn't question your morality. It doesn't question it's a very happy film.
Right.
And I think that's what the reaction I expect is happiness to the product.
Right. Thank you for this interview.
Thanks, Rohit.
Thank you so much.
Hi, this is me, Karan Johar, and you're watching my interview on Bollywood Hungama.